A lot of juicy Attack on Titan info came out this weekend. This is coming from a Q&A done with the Attack on Titan author. It actually had Isayama telling you a lot about the scouts post-time skip. Some highlights include, of course, about the older Eren. There's some stuff about Levi, including his father. Surprisingly, there was also stuff about Erwin and the original Colossal Titan. Within all of this, Isayama also talked about at least one key character dying. Anyway, I expect this to be pretty long, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and kick this off with Levi. Ever since Levi appeared in the last chapter, there's been a lot of chatter around him. Levi notably is still using the old 3D maneuver gear, and he's also the only one wearing the old Survey Corps cape. There's been a lot of fan speculation about whether this is actually Erwin's, except in this case, maybe Levi only dyed it black. As to whether Levi is still carrying something around from his old buddy, Isayama goes in and gives some detail about this. First off, if that was Erwin's, it would have been way too big for Levi. He goes on to mention how Levi couldn't adapt to the new changes, so Levi wanted to keep his old uniform and blades. Levi's cape is actually a new black one. This older Levi is supposed to give off the impression that he doesn't understand the newer generation, which is referring to Eren's group. It seems like Levi is literally turning into an old man. As for why there wasn't really a change in Levi's appearance post-time skip, it didn't really change for Levi since Levi is supposed to be part of the flip phone generation. Compare this to Eren's group that's supposed to represent the smartphone generation. In other words, Levi is pretty stuck in his own ways, and he likes his look, which honestly makes perfect sense. Levi is supposed to be close to 40 years old now. As for this older Eren, Isayama's editor actually specifically did not want any visual changes for the characters. This was especially true about Eren. He wanted Eren to remain clean-shaven. However, as you know now, Isayama decided to completely ignore that suggestion. I mean, come on, you gotta get a few changes after a 4-year gap. Think about all those new brand toys too. But anyway, that wasn't the only change for Eren. At 19, he's much taller. Isayama now confirmed that Eren is 183 centimeters, which is about 6 feet 2 inches. He also mentions how Eren was much more like his mother when he was younger. I'm not sure whether that is height-wise, personality, or both. And going back to Eren's bummed out look, Isayama was asked what Levi thought about this. To Levi, Eren seems much more dirty and unclean. Maybe that's why Levi really had those blades. As for whether it was Eren's own idea to grow his hair out, Isayama shares that currently, Eren is in a state where he no longer is paying attention to how people view him. I really sense a sad Mikasa from that statement. He then got asked about whether Eren grew out his hair since he would be spying around within Marley. To this, Isayama was kind of vague about this. He mentioned that since Eren was supposed to be a hospital patient, he really should have kept a cleaner hairstyle. Perhaps Isayama here was implying that Eren did not grow out his hair specifically for this mission. And here's a little more trivia about this older Eren. Isayama throws out that this older Eren is a heavyweight drinker, although he doesn't get wasted too easily. This older Eren is still supposed to be a good cleaner. And here's probably the most important pieces about this older Eren. Eren is now influenced by a lot of the memories that he's retained. The color of Eren's eyes are now a grayish color. And to top it off, Eren was set in his choice to chop off his leg before entering Marley. So, there's a lot here that's left to possible interpretation. Let me quickly mention a few things. About the memories influenced Eren. Has Eren finally gotten access to his father's full memories? Or how about the memories of Eren Kruger? He has been using that name after all. There's also the question about Eren possibly getting access to the King's memories, or even Ymir's original memories. That would be very interesting. Come on, we gotta get a flashback on that pronto. And about the change in Eren's eye color. I originally thought there was a lot more to this. I mean, it being a physical change is just super weird. But in the manga, however, they've always had Eren with the dark eye color. For the anime, this was where they changed that to green. I guess we're gonna have to wait such a long time to see what they do for the anime. Hopefully you get to see that before 2020. And then finally we got the juicy bit about Eren's leg being cut off. All I'm just wondering is who did it? Was it Mikasa, Levi, Sasha, or did Eren do it on his own? Go ahead, place your bets now. If I had to choose, I would actually go with Jean. Next up, about the new scout uniform gear or armor. Where did the inspiration for these black suits come from? It turns out that the new Survey Corps uniforms were actually inspired by Matt Damon's exoskeleton armor from Elysium. Yeah, from that sci-fi movie that didn't do too well. Isayama joked around how perhaps he should have designed this armor with the hole so they could use the bathroom. I don't know about the whole Elysium thing, When I first saw the black armor, I just thought back to what Kenny was wearing in the Uprising arc. It might have also reminded me a little of the black suits later used in Claymore, although honestly, black suits aren't anything new. Did these suits remind you of anything? Next up, some stuff about Erwin. Surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, Erwin got brought up quite a bit here. The first key thing about Erwin was his death, or should I say post-death. After that whole massive battle took place, the scouts had to move quickly. It turns out that Levi later returned to get the body. Levi specifically ended up being the one bringing back Erwin's bones or body so they could bury him. The translation here mentions bones. I'm just thinking there were so many dead scouts that it was nearly impossible for them to return quickly with everyone's bodies or body parts. Thanks, Beast Titan. Not to mention, who knows how long it took them to go back there. After returning, Erwin ended up getting a special memorial service. I got a feeling they're gonna add a little something extra for this in the anime. Besides the burial, the topic of Erwin's mother and whether Erwin would appear again got brought up. First off, about Erwin's mother. Isayama only says that he's thinking about it. So, maybe? As for an Erwin return, he says that it's still possible in flashbacks. For this one specifically, I have a feeling that Erwin could make a return for an important Levi flashback. What do you think? Would you like seeing Mr. Badass again? Next up, an important topic about the death coming up. So far, there's been so many people dying left and right. So is anyone else going to be dying in the future? For this, Isayama claims that he does not know, but he has decided that one person is going to die. As for other characters, he's still not sure. Once again, Isayama's being a little vague, but he did confirm something here. One important character. I don't think Isayama's referring to characters like Jean, Sasha, or Koni here. But who knows post-time skip. I do wonder whether Isayama's including characters like Eren or Reiner that are already gonna die due to being Titan shifters. I got a feeling this one character dying is not among them. Anyway, back to Levi. Isayama got questioned regarding Levi's father. And this is going back to Levi's height. Isayama says that he has no intention of ever drawing Levi's father in the manga. That Levi's father is not supposed to be anyone significant. He also throws in that his father was probably just a short guy. So in case you guys were wondering about his height, Isayama might have finally answered it. Levi is supposed to resemble his great-grandfather a lot. Just picture Levi with a beard. That should be what his great-grandfather looked like. So there you have it. What do you think about this new Levi info? I got a feeling that going forward in the manga, there's not going to be more about Levi's past. Next up, Bert, also known as the original Colossal Titan, got asked about. Isayama made a comment about how he's not yet finished drawing Bert. So if this guy has any fans out there, you're in luck. And it would be really nice to fill in some of the gaps, since Bert has been one of the least fleshed out of the important scouts. He had such an important role, but I think even Koni got more than him. Isayama goes on to say how he hasn't thought too much about Bert's family. If he would consider it now, Bert probably became a warrior for the sake of his father. So for this, I could see Reiner having some type of flashback, just with Bert and him talking about their parents as kids. Would anyone want to see that? Next topic, the conclusion. This being a Q&A, of course someone was going to ask Isayama about it. When is Attack on Titan finally going to end? The estimated date for a while has been the end of this year. And then you also have the rumor date, which would have been the fall of next year. That'd be around the time when Attack on Titan got to its 10-year anniversary. No surprise here that Isayama was vague on this. He mentioned how he's currently working on the manga without a decision on the end date. However, his editor and him shared the idea to finish this quickly. As to what quickly means, he mentions how 5 years ago they decided to finish the series in 3 years. So about this, it is pretty interesting to hear. And really, it was no surprise that Isayama gave no direct concrete answer about this. However, that part about the no end date in mind is new. A lot of people have expected the Marley arc to be the final arc in the series. From the looks of it, there could be a lot more to the story. Even if you got the current arc wrapping up in a month or two, which I highly doubt. The next arc could add another 2 or 3 years to the story. But what do you think about this comment? Would you like Attack on Titan going on for another 5 years? Anyway, here's the last important bit from Isayama. About all the stuff that Isayama has discussed here about the manga and future events. The Attack on Titan story ultimately is a living body of work that can evolve. The information shared here is not set in stone, but instead there are possibilities that could happen. Just be sure to keep that in mind. But anyway, let me now hear from you. Question of the day. What do you think was the most interesting piece of information that Isayama gave out? Was it some of the character info from Eren, Levi, Erwin, or Bert? Did any of the stuff he mentioned here surprise you? And when do you think Attack on Titan is going to end? Is it going to be before 2020? In all, this just leaves a lot of room for possible theories. Anyway, definitely give this a colossal thumbs up and subscribe. You guys could expect at least 5 anime videos every week. A lot of those are Attack on Titan ones. If you're watching, you should be caught up to the manga. Go ahead and check out my predictions for the next Attack on Titan chapter, and I'll see you guys later.